Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be talking to us about something again I think will help. How to get a biomedical scientist job. How to get a biomedical scientist job. Before we continue, my name is Dr. Emmanuel Ogbodo. I'm a biomedical scientist and I'm also a lecturer in biomedical science here in the United Kingdom. So yeah, let's get into this. If you want to get a biomedical scientist job, there are a few things that you need to do, okay? Number one, you need to learn to have good application. Your application should be on point. Your application should be detailed. Your application should be able to compel the panel to shortlist you for an interview. Because obviously, until you are shortlisted for an interview, you cannot get a job. So you need to be shortlisted before you can get that job. So the first thing to do if you want to get biomedical scientist job is to have good application. Number two, you have to continue applying for job. Continue apply for biomedical scientist job, irrespective of any feedback you may have gotten. You know, sometimes you apply for job and you hear, unfortunately. Don't let that deter you. Don't let that to discourage you from applying. I know that feelings. Nobody like the feelings. Or maybe you even had an opportunity to be interviewed, and after the interview they still say, unfortunately. We all have that experience, okay? What I would say that don't give up, continue trying, okay? So continue making application, continue having good application, continue preparing for interview irrespective of any feedback. Now, if you also want to get a job, make sure you are up to date, okay, with NHS Job. For example, if there is advert today and you don't know about that advert, there's a possibility that it may affect your chances of getting jobs. So what do I mean by that? If you're up to date, if you make all the applications, if you apply for all the jobs in NHS, job, okay, site, that can increase your chances of being shortlisted, and that obviously can increase your chances of getting a job. So one of the ways to get a job as a biomedical scientist is to make sure you are up to date with the job, on NHS job site, okay? So that is very, very important. Make sure you apply for all the jobs, okay? Don't worry about it. Good application in all the jobs, okay? That way you are likely to get job as a biomedical scientist, okay? Another thing is that when you are being shortlisted, I'm going to give you advice to spend time to prepare. In preparing for your interviews, read as much as you can read. Read about the company or the hospital. Read about, the position you apply for. Go through the personal specification, okay? And go through as many things you can go through the YouTube, read online, ask questions, ask anyone that has experience in that area. Ask a number of questions and prepare as much as you can. These are the ways that can help you to be able to, nail that job and get that job as a biomedical scientist, okay? Another thing I'm going to mention to you that when you go for your interview, of course, sometimes we can't control it, but if you can, do your best to control it. Don't be nervous when you go for interview, okay? During your interview, try and be as relaxed as you can, okay? And make sure that when you are communicating, sometimes it can be challenging, but if you can spend your time, because when you are nervous, you are likely to communicate and you may think the panel are understanding what you are saying, but they may not understand what you are saying. So you might need to learn how to relax, okay? Don't be nervous, so that when you communicate and say something, okay, they can be able to understand it. And another thing that not being nervous can do for you is that it will help you to think very well, okay? When you are nervous, you are likely to think, you may not be able to think effectively, and that way you might start giving wrong answers. So what I would say, don't be nervous during your interview. I know it's not easy, but yeah, give it a go and try it. And that is one of the ways that you can be able to get a job as a biomedical scientist. In fact, let me say something like this. Remember that as a biomedical scientist, sometimes we have a lot of job that we are doing, so we need to be multitasking. There can be pressure. In that interview, you need to demonstrate that you can handle pressure. So you try not to be nervous, but still do what you're supposed to do. Answer their question, but don't be nervous, okay? Another thing I'm going to tell you that ensure that your question, and as you're answering your questions, make sure that it is consistent with the question that you are being asked. One of the ways you can do that is to write the questions down if you can, or if you don't understand what they ask, you say, please, can you repeat yourself, okay? Whichever way, even if you start answering and maybe there is something you forget, you can tell them, can they repeat that aspect of the question, and then and that way you can be able to understand the question. There is no need of answering questions if you don't understand what that question is all about. So understand the question and make sure that your answers are consistent with what you are being asked. Let me also tell you another thing that I've already mentioned on my previous videos. Make sure that as you are answering that as you are giving that consistent answer to the question you are being asked, one of the things that you can do as well is to give examples. So when you answer the question, say for example, and that way it can also increase your chances of getting a job as a biomedical scientist. Okay? Another thing I'm going to tell you, while I know that this can affect everyone, okay, maybe including me as well, but it's something that we all need to learn to do. Don't worry so much about the panel, what they are writing. You know, when you're answering questions, they are writing some things, you are thinking, what are they writing? That is not your problem. What is your concern is to focus on your answers. Make sure that your answers align to the questions that you are being asked. Use examples where appropriate. Don't worry so much of what the panel is writing. Make sure that your answers is on point, okay? So when you do this, it will help to show that you are competent, you are composed, that if they give you the job, you can be able to do that job. So when you do that, that can help you to stay focused on what you are being asked. Another thing I'm going to mention in that, when you are answering questions, sometimes the panel start trying to help you. They start trying to prompt you, okay? Maybe because you are answering the question, but you've not really given them exactly what they are looking for, or they want you to say something more than you have said. So they may start prompting you, about some certain things. Is a positive indication that you are doing well. So what you need to do is that when they start prompting you, make use of that opportunity. Make sure you think properly and find out, is there anything that I'm supposed to be saying that I'm not saying that is making the panel to start prompting you, maybe asking you more questions in that thing, because they want you to say many things. Think and see how much you can be able to remember to give them that detailed information they are looking for. So make use of that opportunity when the panel start prompting you, to give them further information. I hope that this point has helped you. So when you do this, these are the ways that maybe if you apply them and do them, it will help you to get a job as a biomedical scientist. And of course, as also, to get a job irrespective of any position you are looking for. I hope you are going to reflect on the answers that I've given to you or suggestions that I've given to you, and that way, see how you can apply that when an opportunity is given to you again in the future. Anyway, please, can I ask you to like, share, and subscribe? Thank you very much till I come back your way again. Bye-bye.